there, fellow collectors, Shuki here with a review of the Kamen Rider Build DX full rabbit tank bottle. So this is kind of like a 2-in-1 bottle stick thing. It's really hard to describe exactly what this is because I'm not sure, but it's a stick. And this is the device used with the build driver and the hazard trigger to transform Kamen Rider Build into RabbitRabbit form and TankTank form, so you can harness the power of the hazard and all that fun stuff. Two really cool forms. I do love the way they look. They look really cool. This, not so much. I don't dig this at all. Spoiler alert. I think this is a terrible toy, but we'll get into why momentarily. This was released March 2018 for about 2,700 yen or so, give or take, depending on when and where you picked it up. So a very not cheap stick, but hey. Again, the forms are really cool. In fact, I might actually pick up this BCR figure because it got detachable armor and stuff, and that's always neat. But anyway, better shot of the forms right there. Again, very cool. All the functions for RabbitRabbit and TankTank on the back there. There's the full bottle buster, and we'll get into that toy probably tomorrow. RabbitRabbit form, TankTank form right there. Again, shots of them up front. This is also available. I don't know the price offhand, but it was available in a set with the hazard trigger if you hadn't picked that up yet. You can use this with the build driver without the hazard trigger, but there's a lot of dead air when you use it, because this is timed to hear the hazard trigger noises as well. So if you don't have the hazard trigger yet, I would recommend either picking it up or picking up the set with this and the hazard trigger in it, because otherwise it's not nearly as exciting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this open and take a look. Alright, so here it is, and I'm going to be very gentle with it. Because it's a very... Oh, calm down. I didn't even start yet. Don't even. This is a very obnoxious toy. First of all, there's no on and off switch. It does... Calm. Here we go. Oh, God. It started already. Stop. Okay. I'm just going to talk over it. There is 3 LR44s right here. The only way to basically give yourself an on-off switch is if you keep the tab and put the tab in here like every time, which is super obnoxious. Like, seriously, it wouldn't have hurt you to put a on and off switch on this very obnoxious toy. Tank. I got such a headache already. So, there's the QR code, number 98. There are the rails over there. They're upside down, but there are the rails. Both of these turn. This cap turns for no apparent reason. And then this one turns to switch this around. In its neutral state, it's this green panel, and then obviously when he activates Rabbit, this will change to Rabbit, and then when he activates the tank, this will change to Tank. It does it automatically in the show, I believe, but this just has a turn dial. Alright, so here's where I'm at. I feel like this should have modified this. Or, hear me out, there was a button on the side or something, because as it is right now, this motion detector in this silver part is always on, and anytime like you lightly move this toy, it starts going which is an obnoxious sound as it is, and then it starts doing this because it's ready for you to pull it apart. Thankfully that doesn't last too long, otherwise I'd probably have thrown this out the window by now. But fortunately, it is a little bit quieter, but then you switch to the tank mode, and then you have that going on. So, like, calm down. It's impossible to play with this toy. It sounds, always. And, like, you can't just, like, pick it up, wiggle it around, or, like, heaven forbid, try to roleplay. Stop! Oh my gosh. You can't, like, roleplay with it. You can't, like, go, oh, cool, I'm, like, pretending I'm a Sento. Because it's just always going off every time you twist it slightly. Stop. Oh my gosh. But I digress. Other than that, I like the sounds, ish. I'm kind of lying. I don't particularly like the sounds, but I like the transformation jingles. We'll get there eventually if I stop yelling at this thing for a minute. But yeah, so I'll just set it down. We'll just set it right here. It's fine. But I think that could have easily just been rectified with a button, and the button will activate the motion sensor, so then you can shake it a couple times. It'll say rabbit. You let go of the button, you split it apart, you put it in the driver, you're hunky-dory. Alternatively, if they could have engineered it to where this part modified this part, the neutral could have disabled the motion sensor, and then when you switched it to rabbit, then it could have activated the motion sensor. You shake it a couple times, it says rabbit, you put it in the driver, you're hunky-dory again. And then to activate the tank part, you switch it to tank. This now does tank noises. Again, driver, hunky-dory. But unfortunately, it does not. So every time you move the toy, no matter what, this part is irrelevant. This part does nothing other than house the rails. Other than that, this part does nothing. All the electronics are in this part. And so no matter what you do, you're going to have to cycle through the rabbit hoppy noises in order to get to the tank portion of this device, which you can actually skip that if you shake it fast enough. It works better off of twisting than it does shaking, actually. So, yeah, and I don't like this at all. Like, there's nothing I like about the functionality of this toy. It's very obnoxious. So we're in rabbit mode right now. And so to get ready for the driver, you press this gold button right here. And rabbit and rabbit. And then you peg it together. Twist it. And you're good to go. So I'm going to just set this over here. It will eventually stop making noise. We'll bring in the build driver. As well as the hazard trigger, which we got right here. Again, with the hazard trigger, you have to make sure that the peg inside here is lowered so that it doesn't... I forgot, it's double from my last video. Stop it. Okay, we're good. We're good, I swear. This video sucks. But here we go. Alright, so take one of that failed miserably, so let's go ahead and try this again, kind of doing everything appropriately-ish. So let's go ahead and do this first. Get that going. There we go. We did it, I think. Like this is, unless I'm just doing something horribly wrong, which is always a possibility, this is just such a difficult toy and difficult combo to play with. The hazard trigger, if you insert it while that little post is sticking up at all, it'll jump right into the overflow part and ruin the timing of everything. This thing is a finicky little bee that is just, again, very difficult to play with. Like, this is just a combo of toys that is incredibly difficult to play with and have fun with. It looks great on a shelf. Like, I think this actually looks kind of cool. This still looks like a bird head to me, but that's whatever. Like, this looks cool on a shelf, but playing with it is just incredibly difficult. And I could just be overreacting to that. Kids in Japan could love it. I have no idea. But, for me, anyway, I don't like how this functions together. Okay, and so, of course, there is a final attack function as well. You just twist this. Hooray! Explosions. So we'll unplug that, switch it back. That's you're already going. Okay, calm down. Well, sure, we'll get you to tank first. There we go, tank. We're gonna go ahead and overflow this. Why are you at Rabbit again? Tank and tank. And it does go through that cool build-up thing, which I think is admittedly pretty cool if you time it right and don't start rotating the handle too quickly. It does take a minute to actually get there. And the final attack for this one. And there we go. There are all the functions of this thing, I believe. So move that out of the way. And of course, this does have compatibility with the full bottle buster as well. We'll take a look at that in the actual full bottle buster video, which again is an infuriating thing with this toy because you insert it like this. And it just, when you shake it, it starts doing a whole bunch of stuff, and you try to insert it into the full bottle buster, and you're like inserting it, and all you hear is brr, 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 rabbit, brr, 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 and it's a whole mess. I don't like the motion sensor in this toy at all. However, if you take it out of the driver and you keep it like this, it actually doesn't do anything. So if you are trying to play with the full bottle buster, I recommend if you start in the stick mode and then pull it apart like this, it will initiate the Rabbit and Rabbit or Tank and Tank functions, and you will have to sit through a brr, 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 brr thing for a little bit. But afterwards, it does shut off that motion sensor. And so you can wiggle it around a little bit and get it into the full bottle buster appropriately, and don't have to worry about all of those additional sounds. So there is that, just a little hack I found. I hate that term, but anyway, I digress. You can do that as well, just to shut the thing up. So keep it apart, and it shuts up apparently. So I think more or less this toy is just very unfortunate. I want to love it because I love these two forms and I love the jingles that it produces. Unfortunately, the functionality of the toy is just incredibly obnoxious. It's hard to play with, it's hard to role play with, and like just sitting it down causes it to start making noise, and I don't particularly like that about it at all. If you're going to put a motion sensor in something, make sure the motion sensor doesn't go off at every little slight touch. So in that regard, it's just not a toy I enjoy, again, which is unfortunate because I do love these forms, but I just don't like this at all. Like, I'll just be blunt, I don't like this toy at all. It's very, very obnoxious and just not fun to play with. If it was engineered a little bit better to where the sounds didn't go off at every whim, I definitely would love it a lot more. I like the concept of this like larger, quote, bottle splitting into two pieces and connecting into the driver. I think that's a neat concept. The execution of the toy just totally falls flat for me. So that's just what it is. If you do love this, absolutely good on you. I'm not going to say you're wrong or anything like that, because I do see the fun in this. It irritates me. So I don't particularly like it. But that about does it for this review. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care and have a great one. Bye. I'd like to thank Joey, Mr. Mike, Josh, VZ17, and all my fans who support me on Patreon.